This is the Galapagos flightless cormorant, one of the world's rarest birds. It is found only on Fernandina and neighboring Isabella Islands in the Galapagos archipelago. Today I'm on a visit to the rugged volcanic shores of Fernandina, together with marine ecologist Dr. Susana Cardenas and park warden Alberto Proano. Susana has worked in the Galapagos for over 2 decades, and on this visit she will be doing research on these birds that clearly occupy a special place in her heart.
It's my favorite species, my favorite seabird species in Galapagos. They have very interesting behaviors. Not only that they cannot fly anymore, but more importantly, their courtship behavior, their nesting behavior is very unique. I have a really strong affection for these birds. We have a very important responsibility to take care of them.
There are no terrestrial predators on these islands, so flightless cormorants can safely nest in small breeding colonies here along the shore. During the breeding season, the birds will pair up and build a nest out of seaweed and other soft material. The male harvests pieces of seaweed that he takes up to the nest, where he presents them to the female. This is a rather charming aspect of the courtship ritual. A female will normally lay 3 eggs, of which only 1 is likely to hatch. Both male and female will share brooding and parenting duties until the chicks are ready to start foraging on their own. While the male stays with the young one, the female will often seek another mate and raise a second clutch. The cormorants seem to be relatively undisturbed by our presence, so Susana and Alberto are able to go about their work quite calmly.
For this procedure, we use a Tesa tape, and we put the Tesa tape in between the feathers to hold the logger, right? So this is a logger. Actually, this is a smaller logger. This logger has different sensors. It has a depth sensor, a temperature sensor, a pressure sensor, right? And also an accelerometer. With an accelerometer, we can have a really good profile of what are the type of activities. We will retrieve this after 2-3 days maximum. We have to come back to the colony and retrieve the loggers.
The entire Galapagos flightless cormorant population consists of fewer than 1,000 breeding pairs that are found exclusively on Isabella and Fernandina Islands on the western side of the Galapagos archipelago.
So now he returned to the nest, and we will wait until he goes back to the water and go to get some food, and he will give us information of where he's getting that food in this area.
When the Galapagos cormorant's ancestors came to these islands over 2 million years ago, they could fly, just like the many other species of cormorant found around our planet. But the isolation and the special conditions of this place set in progress some unique changes.
Because of the very rich environment that they have here, a lot of food in the water, So it was easier to go dive and get food. And the cormorants were losing this ability to fly. This is one of the most amazing evolutionary process.
The cormorant's wings haven't disappeared altogether. They are now reduced to about a third of the size that would be required for them to be able to fly. The now flightless bird has substituted its flying capacity with a very powerful lower body and legs that propel it through the water in search of its favored prey, octopus, and squid, and sea eels. What we now have is a very small population that has evolved over millions of years to survive in a very specific environment. But what happens if that environment starts to undergo rapid change? This is one of the questions that Susanna and her team hope to be able to answer.
The idea is to see how far they are going, they are using the marine environment. And one of the main questions in the long term will be to analyze if there are changes in especially foraging behavior because of El Niño or La Niña events. We want to do this in the long term. The idea is to try to answer a question regarding climate change.
The Galapagos flightless cormorant may seem to be far away and exotic for most of us. After all, it's only a few thousand birds that live on these two tiny islands in the Pacific Ocean. But what will happen if climate change disrupts the currents that bring food close inshore on these islands? Will this species, for which evolution has prioritized swimming over flight, find itself at a life-threatening disadvantage?